Good morning, folks. All right, today is Monday, January 27th, 2025. So I've got to look at the market here real quick and notice that we had over 1,000-point drop since the close of Friday. So I'll be looking for a PM session that's going to be cleaner. But the ultimate draw is if you want to take your charts, we're going to be looking at NQ H2025 on TradingView. And if you annotate the low on Monday, January 13th, 2025, it should be the 4:15 a.m. Your time should be set to New York time, always on TradingView. That 20,694 even, that level I think is the draw. Doesn't mean it's going to happen today, but longer term perspective, that's what I'm working with going into the week initially. And that's just the first target on the downside. Since we had such an extreme movement lower, and if we don't come back away from the low that's formed thus far this morning before 9:30 opening, I think that it's better for us to sit still and just watch. I believe the PM session will probably be a little bit cleaner as a result of this huge gap we're going to probably experience this morning, unless they just ran this thing back up higher, which I don't foresee that happening before 9:30. So if you haven't already done so, put your notifications on. I won't be talking a lot. I'm not going to be sending 1,000 posts, but that way you'll be able to see what's pertinent as I see it and when it's salient. On a 5-minute chart of NQH2025, you want to annotate the London session, 3:30 a.m. and 4:15 a.m. relative equal highs. That's your buy side for today. So I'd be interested to see how we get up there and trade above it. If we go up the ghost, then it might want to resume and then take out the low that was formed prior to 6 a.m. this morning. That's what I'm going with initially. And if we just rocket through that London session, relative equal highs, then we'll be looking for, obviously, a deeper press into the high at 2:50 a.m. for today in London. There's a fair value gap that you should highlight at 2:15 a.m. And the buy side is at 2:50 a.m. New York local time. On your daily chart on Thursday, January 9th, 2025, for NQ H2025, you want to annotate the low of January 9th, 2025 on the daily, and you want to annotate the high of Monday, January 13th, 2025. That is an inversion fair value gap, and I'll show you the charts with the annotations in a moment, but I want you to do it on your chart first. Then the January 14th, Tuesday high, and you want to annotate the Thursday, January 16th, 2025 low. That also is a fair value gap, and we're going to be annotating that. So inside of the SIBI, which is a sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency, on Friday, January 10th, we're annotating that entire range with the previous candle and the subsequent candle after it. And we're highlighting that in a shade of orange. And I'm watching inside that range. I want to see if price can maintain any retracements inside that is normal, absolutely normal. If we start moving above that and then come back down and seeing it act as a form of discount where it sends price higher, then it makes the morning session a little bit more complicated. But ideally, we want to see price action be kept inside of the SIBI from January 10th, 2025 on the daily chart. All right, so I'll be looking for a price run originating off of 8:30 a.m. to about 6 minutes and a half from where we're at right now. And I want to see, do we move outside of that inversion fair value gap that's shaded in orange, the larger one, not the smaller one. Right now, we're trading into that smaller one. So I want to see, do we press higher and outside of the larger inversion fair value gap? If we do, that minor buy side I've offered you, that is where the liquidity is. If you look just inside of the 15-minute chart I posted, for the 60-minute SIBI, there's a very, very small little fair value gap inside of the 2:45 a.m. candle. You can see that on the 15-minute time frame. If we spike above and run the buy side liquidity I've offered to you at 21,274 and 3/4, I would like to see only the wicks trade into that and then quickly return back inside of the daily inversion fair value gap. If we move above into the upper half of that 60-minute SIBI, then I'm going to move to the sidelines and wait till the afternoon, and I'll return back for the afternoon for commentary that would begin around 1:30 p.m. Ultimately, I'm holding a loose bias that we stay inside of the daily SIBI until 9:30 opening range. And then 9:30 opening range to 10 o'clock will give me more insight. So I'll be giving you commentary between now and 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. Acting as an inversion fair value gap for me as a pre-market analysis setup. So I'm trying to get a read on price before we get to the 9:30 opening. I'm not interested in pressing any buttons or entering a trade prior to 9:30, but I'm trying to get a feel for it. So at 8 o'clock, I sat down with the charts for the first time. I wasn't watching anything overnight. So I'm doing it as you would if you were using the content that was on my YouTube channel. For you Forex enthusiasts, if you look at the opening gap, new week opening gap rather, on Sunday, we gapped down and then we traded higher on the 15-minute candle at 4:45 a.m. What's missing inside that range? Sell side delivery. So you want to highlight the close on candlestick 4:45 p.m. Friday and the opening price Sunday at 5 p.m. for GBP USD. Extend that rectangle all the way through the morning session. That could be a draw on liquidity. We could pull back down into that today. And I'm not saying that's a top in pound dollar. It just means that that's a very likely candidate for a draw for lower prices on GBP USD. Note the responsiveness and price inside that smaller inversion fair value gap. We had a small little rotation lower, clearing the low at 8:26 a.m. 1-minute candlestick on NQ.